Oh hi, good to see you there. I'm Raul Martinez, and today we're going to discuss about freedom and destiny and the relationship they have with being sentenced to a life in jail or to the death penalty. Let's start by defining what my concept of freedom is. For me, you can only be free if you are able to take your own decisions. Later we will single out some of the characteristics of freedom, but now we can go on following this general idea. And as for destiny, its existence walks along with the lack of freedom, because you cannot decide about your future. It's already put down in some kind of divine plan, and so you cannot be wholly free. And point out that someone has to have written it is essential to keep unfolding this sort of lecture. Now, do you believe in destiny? And what do you think has to do with freedom? Let's call out some older thinkers. Let's start with Stoicism from Seneca. Well, Seneca is considered to be the most relevant Stoic in the history of philosophy. He claimed that everything that happens takes place because destiny exists, and so you cannot be utterly free. This destiny for him belongs to some kind of divine plan, which Stoics call logos or universal reason, and which is a trail that has been written since the very beginnings of existence. Consequently, they do not believe in freedom, and if someone does, it's just a product of ignorance and bewilderment. Nevertheless, they did believe in some kind of freedom, which is our relative freedom and which consists on attitude freedom, or in other words, how we struggle to understand we can do nothing to face destiny, to change destiny, and how much time it takes to us. Now, Stoics did believe that universe renovates itself following like a circle shape, because God destroys it with fire and creates another universe. Now, what belongs to our soul is to free from the materialistic riches from our body and meld with God. Why? Because in each renovation of the universe, only those souls molten with God are those who survive for the next universe. So, if Seneca had to face the polite request, would you prefer a death penalty or a life sentence? What would he say? Well, he would probably face any sentence with anguish, because that's destiny, but I think he would prefer a death penalty in order to free from his body and meld with God as soon as possible. Now, Epicureanism. Well, Epicurus is the creator, the founder of hedonism, and besides, he is considered to be one of the most relevant figures of materialism. So he did not believe in God, and hence he did not believe in destiny, because he had a full materialistic concept of life. Now, he thought that we are fully free, we are utterly free, but that freedom stands for seeking or searching pleasures and avoiding pain or sorrow. Now, if he had to face the same request uttered to Seneca, what would he answer? Well, he would probably prefer a death penalty, because if he chose a life sentence, he would have a life with no pleasures, only pain, only sorrow, no liberty. I think that would be a life in despair for someone like Epicurus, just an endless torture. Well, let's go on with existentialism. Existentialism is a new philosophy from the 20th century, which stands out because the existentialists understand freedom as a responsibility. As for in the words of an existentialist, our life doesn't have an intrinsic sense, and we have the responsibility of giving a sense to our lives through taking fully free decisions. We can only give a sense to our lives if we are wholly free. And that's our responsibility, to be free. Now, there are two types of existentialism. Kierkegaard thought that God put us here and left us on our own, and so we are wholly free. We have not any external help. Now, Jean-Paul Sartre thought that there's no God, we are just here as a product of evolution, but they both agree in the fact that we do not have external help. Now, if Kierkegaard had to face the same request, what would he answer? Well, he would reply that he would prefer a life sentence because, well, no freedom, no destiny. But then he would remind that he was a Catholic, God would get furious if he wanted to die, if he begged to die. So he would beg not to get walked, and just be behind bars until he died naturally. Now, Sartre, what would he say? What would he answer? Something like, please take me to the gallows as soon as possible. He would prefer dying swiftly. Now, to finish, let's talk about anarchism from Bacon. Well, okay. Anarchist philosophy is comparable with existentialism. They do not believe in God. In Bacon's words, a boss in heaven is the best excuse for a boss on earth. Therefore, if God did exist, he would have to be abolished. Now, if God existed, we would have to murder him. That's what an anarchist would say. They think as the existentialists that we are here on our own without external help, with no God, no destiny, and everything that happens, everything we do and everything that happens takes place because we decide. So we have full responsibility of everything that happens, leaving out natural events, of course. But there's one essential difference between anarchism and existentialism. That anarchism understands that we can only be free if everyone surrounding us is as free as us. So we can only be free surrounded by free persons, equally free persons. Then everyone's freedom is not an impediment for my own, but the confirmation of it. And so anarchism is a search of freedom, philosophy which searches freedom from its beginnings forth. Now, if an anarchist had to face the same request, what would you prefer, life sentence or a death penalty? What would he answer? This is very clear. He wouldn't accept a life sentence. It's impossible for him. A life sentence, a life without freedom. Anarchist without freedom is like a shell with no soul. It's impossible for him, so he would rather die swiftly and he would choose the death penalty. Now, my personal conclusion. I think that these are only different conclusions we can reach from a reasonable point of view, a full reasonable point of view. But there's one essential fact that we are leaving out, which is that we are animals. If only we weren't, but we are animals. And as animals, our first goal is to survive. Then, when we face death, we can behave actually vicious. We cannot recognize ourselves, and thus, a Catholic, an existentialist, an anarchist, we would all agree that we would be prone to choose a life sentence, because even after 20 years in jail, in the clinic, there's a light that strikes deep in our hearts, bestowing us like a glowing hope which never yields and which is the freedom-seeking feeling, is our final hope.